Okay, so we will call to order at 6:04 the Mitchell Business Improvement Area, Wednesday, December 7th. We'll have a motion to accept the agenda. If everyone's had a minute to read it. Is there anything we're adding? I have two things to add, but do you have anything? Anybody have anything they want to add? So under other business, item 11, Bert wants to talk about the bows and he wants to talk about pole wraps real quick. We'll make it real quick. So we're going to add that under number 11, bows, downtown bows and the pole wraps. So can I have a motion to accept the agenda with additions? Heather, and I will second that. So we are actually going to skip ahead on the agenda now that we've accepted it to item number 5, and we'll come back to the adoption of the minutes shortly. So 5.1, Justin, what you got for us?
Well, thank you, and through the chair, pleasure to be joined by my colleague Ricky Zhao, our Digital Service Squad team member for Perth County. So I'll just kind of go through the general update, and I'm just passing over to Ricky when I'm done. Talk a bit more about service. I know I always talk about Digital Service Squad every time I'm here, but sometimes it's nice to put a face to the name and be able to show people that Ricky's a real person, not a chatbot or something. He's a real human who can kind of help you with your business. So I'll let him kind of talk a bit more about what he can do for you, what he's kind of done for some businesses in the area. But I'll just kind of go through quickly the academic tourism update. So 2 surveys I wanted to bring to this group's attention. One is our workforce attraction and retention employer toolkit survey. So that is a project that's being undertaken right now by a consulting team to really put together the best of the best practices of workforce retention and attraction initiatives based on what's worked for other employers across locally, across the province, across Canada. So it's really kind of a research project to find out what are those best practices for innovative techniques or benefits that employers are using to help attract and retain employees, because we know that is a major struggle. So the outcome of this project right now, like I said, it's in kind of the research phase, but the outcome will be a toolkit that local employers will be able to use and implement, because it'll have check sheets, it'll have step-by-step guides on what other employers have done and how you can implement a similar initiative in your business. Could be things about adding additional insurance if you want to offer certain perks to your business or your employees. So there's a survey online right now. If you have or know a business that's doing something innovative to attract and retain employees, big or small, we want to kind of hear from all sizes and all types of initiatives that are being offered. So please do complete that survey. And then the other survey that I just wanted to bring to this group's attention is the employer-wide survey being run by the Fort County Labor Market Planning Board. This is it was an annual survey. It runs kind of every couple of years now of employers to find out what are their employment needs, hard to fill positions, skills that they require, and just generally tracking the local labor market and our employer needs. So that is again run by the Fort County Labor Market Planning Board, and that is open until the end of January, I believe. So 2 surveys that I wanted to bring to this group's attention. Also wanted to mention on the tourism side that our Holiday Magic campaign is running. Hopefully you've seen some ads on Facebook and Instagram. Really great job by our tourism officer to really inspire folks to shop local this holiday season. We know that sometimes people need extra nudge to remind them about all the great things that are here. So number of different videos that are being played now online, and you can find those on our social media pages, and hopefully you've seen them already because they are making their way around. So I wanted to bring your attention to that. I just wanted to also highlight an event that we're at along with West Perth Mayor and CAO last week, as well as mayors and CAOs from across the county. We're at Queen's Park as part of the EDCO Queen's Park Day, which is an opportunity for us to raise local economic development issues with members of parliament, members of provincial parliament, I should say. So we're pleased to have all 4 of our lower tier municipalities and the county represented there. We took up 5 of the 25 spots in Perth County, was well represented and had the ear of many of the folks in attendance there. So that was a great kind of networking, but also advocacy event. And then I know Jeff, I don't want to steal his thunder, but the business mixer that was run by the put on by the West Coast Economic Development Committee. We were at that a couple weeks ago now, and it was a very successful event. And I know I saw some of you there. And I know I'm sure Jeff might mention more of that, but just it was a great opportunity for us to share what's going on in the county and network with a number of new businesses. And then last but not least, I will turn things over to Ricky, who again is one of two of our digital service squad team members. So Ricky, Zhao, and Eileen are two digital service squad members. They work with us, provide free service business to help them with all their digital needs. And I'll let Ricky kind of outline what those digital needs may be and kind of share some of the stories about kind of what he's helped other businesses do, so that have a sense of what he can do for your business. So I'll turn over to you, Ricky.
Well, yeah, thanks. So in the past few months, you might have seen like some of these postcards get sent to you. Maybe one of us might have gone to your businesses and introduced ourselves. You might have seen us on social media, just stuff like that. We've been so far trying to get the service, spread word about this service, that this service is here to help you, to help small businesses for free, right? And going forward, we're looking to go to these businesses that might need help on increasing your digital presence, whether that might be, building a new website, creating a new website, making new social media accounts, upkeeping that, looking at SEOs, like search engine optimization, how you can improve your listing on Google, all those important things that you need to kind of keep in track so that your digital presence, if I say that again, is widely viewed on just not just in Perth County, but all of Ontario, or even maybe all of Canada, right? So that your business's name is out there, and that you're not just a physical store, but also someone that business customer can go online and check you out and figure out who you are. So that's some of the things that we can do for you, for your businesses. Again, do you have to mention, all this is free. Along with that is the other side, is the grant. So the grant, we did have a few recipients of the grant, which is a digital transformation grant of $2,000. So that allows you to use that grant to spend to build websites. I think you can also hire don't quote me on this, but I think you can also hire some sort of team to help you through that process. So I know some other businesses have also used that money to buy a POS system. Again, these grants are business to business based, right? So your business needs might not be the same as others. That grant right now is closed. However, it will open next year, late January. So if you need help with that grant process, we're also here to help you with that as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Did I forget anything?
No, I think maybe one thing I might just mention is it's not just a one-time need. So if you have a need at this point in time, I know Ricky and I need to work with businesses over the course of even a year. So some businesses they've started with, and they've had ongoing meetings with them over the course of a year, and been back and helped with one issue, and then helped with another issue, or kind of just help build on things that they've done before. So it's not a one-time, once you use the service, it's done. It's really they're available to help any business and all business with any of your business needs, and they're don't be afraid to give them a call or feel like any question is too small or too insignificant, or there's no stupid question. It's all everybody starts from a different place. So I think Ricky and Eileen are very good at kind of meeting businesses where they are and helping them get to where they want to go. So
definitely, exactly. And we always can try to help you as much as can help you. So sometimes that means us driving out to you, meeting you at your business location. And we're kind of lucky in our situation because we're such a small county that we're able to provide you in-depth support and coaching, right, alongside you, not like other municipalities where there are hundreds of thousands of businesses, and we're gonna get to you only for like 10 minutes, right? We get to experience and help you along through every single process. And by doing that, we teach you how you can manage your digital presence in the future as well.
Is that grant, if someone received the grant previously,
So-
like Main Street Digital, are they eligible for this one?
Yes, so if you received the 3.0, which is the one last year, you will not be able to be eligible. But if you received the one called 2.0, which is the year before, then yes, you would be eligible again for this year, which is the 4.0.
Right.
And do you know if the grant is available to our associate members or is it only downtown?
So it's anywhere, the main thing is anywhere in Perth County, as long as you're a brick and mortar store. I think if you employ at least one person, and I think there's a few other smaller eligibility requirements, but again, it's on a business and to business basis. So I suggest everyone to at least apply, and that way you know that for sure you're either getting it or not. Because the application process is not that in depth, right? It's very simple. All you have to do is fill out a few questions, watch a few videos, and that's about it.
Oh, I bet you there's numbers in the videos.
First time was a lot.
And so I do know in Ricky, because they have, they've taken all that feedback in terms of the number of businesses that didn't get through the videos. Because they can obviously track, how far people have gotten, and they have made it considerably less onerous to go through the videos based on the feedback from business they just owners. So yeah, I think it's definitely that was heard loud and clear. And each time they offer a different grant, they make it a bit more user friendly. Or someone told that.
It is a little much user friendly. I've gone through the process myself, so I know what it's like. And the application process took me 5 minutes, and then the video, I to be honest, I just watched it while I ate some chips on the side. It took me about an hour. So okay.
All right. It was 3 hours video.
First time.
No, I think it was 40 hours.
It was,
It was,
yeah,
it was 40 hours.
This one is not just a few hours.
it was like 3 hours per video or so. Yeah.
It was
long.
Painful.
Especially when you're under a time crunch to watch them all.
I guess maybe kind of coming back to your question, Trish. So the grant is limited to bricks and mortar stores, but the digital service squad is available to any business, even home-based businesses. So while the home-based business may not qualify for the grant, they can still qualify and access all the other services as well. Ricky's brought some handos here. And so either you can keep some, or if you know somebody else who might benefit, or if you want to keep some at your store, or
We can try to get them down the street too, I think. Literally up and down the street, depending on how many you've got, or we can stop and get some more from you. too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I have a lot of these, so.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? For Justin or Ricky? And Todd? Okay. Well, we don't have Jeff Brick, but we have the next best thing. Dan Hobson. Our clerk, he'll do a quick municipality update for us.
Thanks for putting that on the record. I'll be sure to point that out to Mr. Brick.
Next best thing.
I know you
Um,
wore a nice Christmas sweater too, while you're at it.
I know it was a festive day for me. It was gymnastics open house, so. Anyways, I'll make this quicker than Mr. Brick, but thank you, Mr. Diaz, for the business mixer. That was not on my list, but yes, that was, I think, by all accounts, a successful event, and we thank the business community of the whole coming out to that. As everyone's aware, we are off and running with a new term of council, and we will be looking for new appointments, and likely at our next meeting, we'll have a better place of what the council rep for this board will look like. Other than that, it is just business, I would say as usual, but it's a little more hectic right now, just bringing the council up to speed for us. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or we'll be going over some other things later tonight and budget and etc. Okay.
No more update on the pavilion. Are we still looking for lots of sponsors?
Uh,
Business sponsors, personal sponsors?
we are looking for sponsors.
Still have lots
yeah.
of spots left.
Yeah.
Nobody's chosen the naming rights for it yet, have they?
No,
I did bring that forward to Ace Country Depot, that it would be lovely to be an Ace.
Yeah.
Ace Country Depot Pavilion. We'll see if we get any farther with that one.
We'll be sure to send a card,
Personal
a personal card.
invitation to Ace Country Depot to the Ace Pavilion. I just think that's a super
It's
sounding
got a
name.
very nice frame.
Does have a very nice ring, the Ace Pavilion. Okay, Trish.
Okay, perfect. So the first thing I'll go back to is the middle of November. The board had asked that I attend the bike summit at the museum. So I attended that with Perth County. So it was an interesting event. So basically, am I correct in saying the consultant is Ontario by Bike?
Yes.
Okay, so Perth County and so other counties have hired a consultant called Ontario by Bike. And they come in and they do a study of, you know, the biking trails in the area and how it connects to the municipalities and like kind of businesses in around there. Then they come to the county with a study. And so they've given, or like a report, sorry. So they've given their report to the county. And so what we got a summary of that report. I wouldn't really, like, I'm not sure how to really summarize it for the board.
They have a lot of work to do.
Because so that was some of the feedback that was given during the presentation. So they basically summarized the report that they've given to the county, which will now go to the county council and work its way through. But there was some feedback where there was stuff missing, like the G2D trail wasn't discussed about how it's accessible to not only like wheelchair accessible, but there were other accessibility things that they've done in the last year that didn't get highlighted in this report. And so there was a bunch of feedback that had come back during the consultation, and then there was a bit of a mixer at the end where the businesses and representatives there could kind of talk about the different, like how to kind of conform with, like, how do we get it closer to the municipalities? Like who was there from the Kales were there from West Perth, right? So they're big bikers, and they said, you know, like the trail is out, like you have to drive to get to the trail, so it doesn't really connect with Mitchell, and they were concerned about that. So they sat in on the one group and talked about that. So I wouldn't say we've like missed the boat in terms of giving feedback, but I kind of feel like we came in at a stage where it's been pretty far advanced. They've already done their research, they've given their report to the county. I think there's still room for input.
Yes, sorry, maybe I should have probably included that in my.
That's
update.
okay.
It was, maybe an oversight on my behalf, but yeah, really it was, it's a cycle tourism strategy, so it's not a cycle. It's not a transportation master plan or active transportation master plan, so it really is about what do we have, what's our current cycle, because we want to, you know, expand our cycle tourism program, what is the current product and how do we market what we have, make improvements what we have, given that there are limitations in terms of infrastructure and other things. So it's really about figuring what we have, how we can market it effectively, safely, and then lost my train of thought, but really kind of finding like what are some of the key tourism, cycle tourism routes, and how do we, what's, you know, the signage that we need on them, is it amenities, bicycle repair, so yeah, what is the things, like how do we put together a compelling cycle tourism product? Is really what it's about. It's not about necessarily, again, an active transportation master plan. So but in terms of the feedback, so that's all been you know, received, and I don't think there's, I think the outcome will be for us as a Perth County Economic Development and Tourism team, some strong kind of marketing pieces that we can put together based on what we are existing have, and maybe some opportunity to partner with BIAs or municipalities or nonprofits to fill in some of the gaps that we have in terms of cycle tourism product.
So there's a lot of hardcore cyclists there. So it was an interesting summit to be at, but I felt like it was sort of kind of past the point of us being able to give feedback. And I think our role as a BIA is to, help promote it for Perth County, which I think is great. And there were some business representatives there too, but I don't believe anybody from Mitchell.
Was there any suggestions to make your towns more bike friendly?
Someone did point out, and I don't remember where they were from, But there was discussions on bike racks and the bike repair stations, so like Stratford has installed these bike repair stations in their downtown. So those were brought up, but again, these were just like suggestions to go with that report they've been given.
Yes, sorry, Tricia,
It's
taking all your time up here.
It's okay.
Uh,
Fine.
So there is actually a bicycle friendly program that Ontario by Bike runs, and as part of our kind of path forward will be getting more businesses on board as in terms of bicycle friendlies, because there's an actual bicycle friendly designation that businesses can attain free of charge just by satisfying some of the just number of requirements. It might be a bike stand, might be having water or washing available or things like that, where you can kind of become bicycle friendly certified as a business, as a EIA. I think maybe you could potentially promote that.
Yeah.
Become a partner. So that's definitely one of the outcomes, and the recommendation is to be a bit more of a push to get businesses bicycle friendly certified.
And our bike racks still downtown.
They're getting smashed off and not being replaced. I'm just thinking from a standpoint of downtown. I can't see our businesses jumping completely on board with that, but I can see we're looking at a downtown side of it that have a bike friendly environment, because I find the bike racks we have suck. I'm not sure who thought they were good, but I'm sure that was part of the streetscape thing, but they're not very bike friendly.
Yeah, so like Justin said, just to echo, is another thing is for us to promote that our businesses get certified. There are certain requirements that have to be met, so I have the website written down that I can circulate in our newsletter and just promote to get certified.
I was just gonna add, that while the county's wasn't a transportation master plan, as you alluded, it was a tourism plan. The municipality is looking for council approval to bring in a recreation plan and update our recreation plan. So our current recreation master plan includes trail systems.
Yep.
So there certainly will be an opportunity there for public input, and we will make sure that Darcy Cook is well aware of this tourism plan, and potentially some of the feedback that was provided in there we can provide to whoever the consultant is.
Yeah, because to me, you make your downtown bike friendly and then your business follows suit, versus trying to get your businesses on board and then try to convert your downtown to bike friendly.
So that'll be an opportunity then where we will make sure that the BIA and the community is at the front end of the opportunity to provide feedback.
Yeah, because I looked into purchasing a bike rack this past summer. They're not cheap. Like to get one of the old bike racks of this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's something that we can apply for, I'm onto that. Yeah.
We'll make sure that between Dan and Trish, we get as much information out to everybody. Okay. Next.
So then, I wanted to touch on the AGM. I know it's not till March. But we have an election this year, so I will be connecting with Dan to kind of finalize that. There have been a couple of businesses that have kind of said, hey, I'd be interested in being on the board, so.
Good.
Explain to them what that all entails, and we'll see what happens in the spring. I am wondering if the board would be open to moving it. So if I understand correctly, we have to have it before the 17th of March because of this past fall election. And then we normally would have our meetings the first week of the month. And I'm wondering if the board would be okay to move it to the second week of the month.
Like continuously from like
No, just
just for the
the
AGM.
AGM.
to the 8th of March.
Yeah,
That makes sense. It's the first is a Wednesday.
I'm gonna jump in quick here again. So we are proposing, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this. We're proposing to change the council meeting dates. So we are looking at, our recommendation will be till 2 Wednesdays. So that would impact the meeting dates for this board.
That's interesting.
Which I mean, by all means,
Wednesday's a tough one though,
it would,
because a lot of
It
the
would be-
boards your council sit on meet Wednesdays.
yeah.
Not sure why they would do that.
so we can circle back to that in January then.
Yeah, we'll know on December 19th.
Because I know myself personally, the 6 committees I sat on, all of them
Wednesdays.
met
Or
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Most of them met Wednesdays. So that, and a lot of them are outside boards that we don't have control over. So
I can hear an excuse not to.
just food for thought. as
No,
we move forward.
I'm aware, but there are other reasons that we'll provide the council.
You said we had to have it by the 17th.
That was my understanding because of, the municipal election, we have to have. a quorum.
You're, yeah, 4 months from the new term,
Yeah.
so.
So even if we have to
So-
swap, that leaves us, the 17th is a Friday. So that leaves us a lot of wiggle room if we
I
even had to
can't do
push
that
it back
week at all.
to the second week, the week of the 13th, so.
I think if anything, right now, we could be
No, the
pretty
second week
confident.
of March is the 8th.
That's, well, see, I use Mondays,
Oh, sorry, okay,
so the 6th is a Monday.
right, gotcha.
I'd recommend that if you wanted to either pick a date, you can certainly pick a date, but if we wanted to be cognizant of the date change or not, we could say the week of the 6th,
Yeah,
and we can sort it out from there.
Yeah, because I will connect with you on logistics, but I think because it's an election year, I need to get ahead of the advertising again
Mhm.
and promotions, so.
yeah, because it's supposed to be what, 60 days out.
Actually, I think our constitution only says, I
Good.
just went through this.
I know,
last
'cause
So
time,
if we get it out in January.
But I
we'll be
usually,
okay.
I've been doing it
Usually
for
pretty good.
months, yeah,
3 weeks, even better.
yeah, how much? Minimum 3 weeks before. 3 weeks, yeah,
A
We
month.
get out in January.
Yeah,
Chris
so
was pretty good.
I would like to be a little proactive.
That's why if we said the week of the 6th, then at least you go back 4 weeks here in February.
So, we don't have to decide that tonight if you
No.
don't want, we can leave it for now, I just.
So the council's gonna go Wednesdays, you could try and pull a stunt. But probably wouldn't work well.
Try whatever we want.
They'd, everybody be here though.
Yeah.
So we'd have that. notice.
Okay.
So our, sorry, can I move on? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, our BI Bucks program started on, Monday, November the 14th. And it'll go until December 31st, at our 10% off rate, and then the new, 5% will take effect January 1st until November 10th of 2023. So I did a little walk downtown the other day, and there's a lot of the businesses have window stickers in, some don't, but I can't force them to put them up, so I distributed to every business that had them. Except I didn't drop yours when I gave you
That's right.
your box the other day. So, I mean, that promotion's out there, it's on the website, I cleaned up the logistics a little bit on the website. Which then brings me to the email I got today. So this morning, we received an email from YNCU that they are no longer going to partner with us on the program. But so that will end effective December 31st of 22. That being said, the municipality has reached out that they are potentially able to help take on that program in 23. So we're working through that process. This again just came in at 10:30 this morning. So I can provide another update a little bit later on that.
Sounds like an auditing thing.
It sounds like a manager thing.
It was a business decision is what the email had said.
The
So
manager just want it. Kind of wait for the new manager.
yeah, the new manager.
The mayor doesn't want it.
So I'll have more on that in January.
Well-
But for now, we'll get through our 10% off. We've already sold, like I know like the Ritz Villa has bought for their staff, the municipality is buying for their staff again. So there's been some big dollars that have gone out the door, so it's selling,
It's
which
such
is
a-
great. Our Find the Gnome event
And
is
the outgoing council.
just starting this week. I didn't have as many businesses
All my years.
want to participate, so
Yeah, still stuff.
there's from now till Christmas, the gnomes will be out, clues will be on Facebook. And then each week, there's a draw on our Facebook page, $50 per week, and then the grand total of $250 if we still want to give out that much, being that there's less businesses, I don't know what we want to do. So that's a food for thought as well. That draw wouldn't take place till the new year anyways, so we can think about that over the next few weeks. I had started on the advertising plan and kind of our 2023 work plan, so my projection was to hopefully bring that to the January meeting to kind of put some feelers out on some of the ideas that I have for 23. And then I can jump into the Christmas street party, which is next on the agenda, if that works.
Yep, we'll just keep rolling. We're good.
Okay, so we had the Christmas street party on Friday, November 25th. We had the alpacas downtown, we had Santa downtown. Top Shot Hockey was hired to bring in street hockey, ski puck, and a mini rink. Unfortunately, the driver came with no mini rink, so we had another game that he was only half cent with. So we only had 2 games instead of 3. So
Just
the owner had called me or emailed, and then we had spoke on the phone. There's 2 options. One, they can refund us $500 because we didn't have that game. Or second is that they could give us a credit for a future event at $750. So I think I know what the board would want to do, but I said we had a meeting this week and I would get direction from the board at that time.
I think it went over well, so I'd say go for the
It,
credit.
and it did, it went over really well. There was lots of kids playing constantly. We had a couple of OPP officers that were walking downtown. One jumped in the rink with the kids and they just loved it. So, I mean, it was very well received, but I guess I don't know.
I think this would be the optimum time to discuss Bert's email, because I think our decision on having them come really ties to the email that Bert sent out to the executive about the success of the BIA Christmas party, which maybe wasn't as successful as the last few years that we've had it. And do we want to even continue with it next year? I think the 2 go hand in hand.
Yeah, and so I can finish my other points.
Yeah.
We can start going to his email maybe.
Yep,
So we had
perfect.
the ranch live broadcasted. He went into every business that was open, took pictures and talked to them, asked what time they were open, to what kind of sales they had on, and he did recordings and did some like live jump-ins.
He
So that
never came down to see me.
Oh, we didn't come down that far?
No.
Okay.
You're just too far up the street. I mean, 1 block is a long way to go.
So we had distributed popcorn as well. The West Perth Library had their story walk up and going. That was really well received. They had 21 businesses, I believe, were on the walk. And then Tracy at Turning Heads had the movie screen up, but I don't know that it was well received this year, which goes hand in hand with the fact that we didn't have very many people. We were aiming to close St. Andrew Street in both directions. Council gave us approval. We didn't need to close the one side because we were down again, so we didn't need the extra space. But the West Perth Youth Center was open. We were able to use their power. There were kids in and out of there like crazy playing games. We used it as like a warming center and washroom. So it was great to have that facility open to us. So to allude to, Bert had sent an email out to the executive, the Board of Management and myself, that the BIA street party wasn't overly well attended, and businesses weren't open. So one of the things this year is that, yes, I think we had the draws. We didn't have the Coca-Cola truck, but I think we had good stuff that drew people in. But the businesses weren't open. So there was a lot of businesses not open. And so word was out in newsletters and advertising. And when I did my personal shopping, I talked to people as I was out as well. And I feel like we did everything that we could to get it out there, and it just didn't have the participation in the pickup. So
Yeah, not the fault of business. I know I talked to a couple of them and a few of them had legitimately good reasons why they weren't prepared to stay open. But if we're gonna have an event in the evening to stay open and people to come potentially shop, and I have to say that 75% of the business is closed. Except for the restaurants, I think they did kill it.
They did a killing.
yeah, the
And
And
restaurants.
Floral Treasures.
And
But-
Floral
Poppin'.
Treasures, yeah.
Just
But
poppin'.
on that side, have we picked the wrong time for it? I mean,
No.
I had more people come in. Why isn't Jillian's open? Why isn't this open? Because they were one of the ones that would have been on prime spot other than Floral Treasures. So
We had
Would
people
it
come
be
from Exeter.
better
go
to
Giants.
relocate to a time when the businesses are still open. So keep with the weekend, or keep with move it back to the Christmas parade weekend, but then hold in the afternoon on the
And have it
Saturday.
over by the time the parade starts.
No,
Like
do it on
our-
the Saturday.
our part. Oh, I see.
Do it on the Saturday.
Saturday
So the parade's on the
continue.
Friday. Well, it could be the Friday too. I mean, and have it for that. I'm just thinking
How many businesses are open on Saturdays though? Like,
most
There's
That
quite,
late?
there's quite a few.
are open
Two.
till 3.
Usually.
We close at 2.
Many are open till 2.
3 is the one, and then you have your other ones like Jillian's and that stay open till
4 or 5.
4.
so you have it in the morning. I think.
I'm
Or
thinking
like
if
over
worst
the
comes to
lunch
worst,
hour.
we wrap it up by 4 or 11 till 3 or something along the lines when the businesses aren't struggling, trying to figure out how to stay open if it comes to that. That's the thought. That's the only thing I can think of is instead of having them stay open extra is run it when it's.
When they are open.
Open.
So let's, without doing too much decision work, like as far as what we would do, why don't we just do we have appetite to have it again next year and we take the credit of the money credit, or we have no appetite to take it and we just get our money back? Let's
Does
just
it
start
have to
with that.
be, if we take the credit, can we use it anytime? Because we have a couple other events we could use it for, like you could do the outdoor hockey anytime.
Yeah, it's a credit.
Oh,
you
it's a
can use
credit.
whenever.
So, I mean,
So
Yeah.
is that our appetite then as board? We, even though you guys are associates, you still get to weigh in here, your thoughts and ideas. To just take the on paper credit because we'll use it somehow.
I would say take the credit. Has this company been around a long time? Like there's not a danger of them going out of
That's a good
business?
point.
Very good
because
point.
it's the
I
credit?
don't think that there's a danger to like losing our credit. I think they've been around for, I think pre-pandemic for a few years. They're very, like a lot of places are using them. So like Lucan just had the Montreal Canadiens alumni game and they had Top Shot hockey there. So I know they're popping up everywhere. People are hiring them. So I think it's really whatever you guys decide.
I think that's the decision on the table for right now.
Because we
Are
have
gonna
what-
use them or not?
3 events that we have right now. We
Yeah.
have the March or the, I hate calling it junk sale, but
Garage sale.
the garage sale. So we have a couple other, even if we didn't post the Christmas one, we have 2 other potential events we could have. So I'd say, yeah, let's keep the credit.
Well, and we don't know necessarily as things start to roll back to quote normal. You know, and the restoration of the Kinsmen and other clubs, what they may try to push forward that we can join and tailgate on. So, okay, so that's the consensus. Everybody will just keep it as a paper credit. Okay,
Do you want to make?
yeah, that's the motion. Who would like to make that motion? And how would you like it to read?
Exactly. She said
Exactly as she said. Okay,
we'll take the credit for
Bert
separate.
and Heather and, okay,
Thing
perfect.
1 and thing 2.
Okay.
So I believe that's it, aside from prepping for 2023 and our VI bucks are under.
Okay, we're
Can we, VA bucks, I know that just food for thought, because 3 of the other places I've talked to, they all run them themselves at a discount. Is there a way of doing an online purchase of it so that, like, obviously you can go to the town,
so let's ask.
but when
that
I
question
talked
Dan.
to North Perth, their board of trade deals with them and they email them to a group and it's routed. So are there other opportunities to
Make your
be
stuff
able to
less.
purchase your BIA bucks?
Well, we were approached by that one company that we haven't really done any research on yet.
Don't get me wrong, I'm
we
just,
might-
just
we
trying to
might
figure out a
find-
way to make it convenient for people to get them.
Yeah,
And I kind of expected the banks to bail on us because despite what people thought, most banks are under the same guise as that, feeling and auditing is coming back to haunt them all in the way of controls.
we can certainly talk to the treasurer and see from there what options there are. I know we do take things online for certain things, marriage license examples. You know, so there's definitely the means there. What I will just quickly caveat is that with convenience generally comes cost.
Yes, yes, I know.
Costs,
E-transfers are a nightmare.
Comes cost. So I think if anything, there could be the opportunity for credit online, but that's something we would certainly have to.
Because I know with the
Wonder-
Listo one, they submit, because it all routes through the Board of Trade, even though you can pick them up at the credit union or the Libro. You basically send them an email and it's just a reroute. So you say, yourself would say, I want $1,000 BIA bucks or whatever. And then distribution plans are made so that the money isn't handled at the Libro. They don't do as much as what people think. It ends up going as a pickup.
Yeah.
So it becomes a pickup point versus an actual.
I think maybe what we could do too to ease the pressure on staff here is be more, we'll have to just make businesses do EFT or check. Like, the
That's
banks
what
are
we-
doing cash And we did for a little while there and it kind of, we got a little kickback, we got a little pushback. Would that make things easier for Wendy? It's something to ask her
So
for
then-
What
after,
I know,
when we pay out.
go ahead.
Okay, so I can tell you that they will not get cash. If it comes back to the
Yeah.
municipality, they will not get
Yeah,
cash.
Yeah, I think that's
It
just
will
where I'm,
only be EFT and checks, and it will go back to the process of, you have to bring it in a week in advance
Yeah.
to get your check. the
but I
following
think if we
week,
set
and-
that in motion and we are non-moving on it from, people don't like change. They like to be able to come into the bank and
Yeah,
hand their $20 and get a $20 bill back. We're just gonna have to move to EFT, which would be still a little quicker than check, because check, they're gonna mail it or you come here and pick it up. If we can set as many businesses on BIA up as EFT for Wendy, it will make it seamless and easy.
well, and a lot of
Okay.
businesses actually are already with EFT,
Mhm.
so it was kind of a seamless thing during the pandemic, is that a lot of businesses were already doing that.
Yeah.
So,
So if that's something we can maybe get Wendy to,
And truthfully, from the other ones I've talked to, the businesses didn't get immediate cash back when they put it in. So you take the money you gathered, you would send it in. And you would get it a couple days later. I mean,
So-
we were the only ones that had that ability to. Most of the other ones, if you wanted to buy it or reclaim it, it was always
and I
a
think
period
if
of
we
waiting.
put it on our website, that click the button to purchase your BIA dollars and it reroutes somehow through the whether there's an online pay or at least it's prepared. And then when they come to here, Annalise already has it ready for them, because if we can link it to the website.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I guess too, like, the consumer pickup is the one conversation, and then the business.
Yeah.
Close the loop is the other, and I think Tricia's right on EFT
I think
is
it's-
likely the easiest route to go, or
It's-
it's check run.
It's
And
It's the
From-
cleanest. It's probably Wendy's best choice for bookkeeping. Checks are fine, but then you get the check lost in the mail, or then you pick it up, or it's 3 weeks out before someone gets it.
Yeah.
I think it just makes the month run probably well. I mean, I don't do accounting. You two do, so you.
Well,
maybe
it's the other
say
catch is that there's an understanding up front. That I'm not gonna be able to walk into the bank with my $100 BA balance and walk out with $100 cash. It's, I'm gonna submit my request to transfer. And I'm gonna get it within a X number of periods, so that there's not this, where the hell's my money? Like
And
we had
really,
once
there was only
before.
one business owner that
So-
was.
And yeah,
not
but it's one
letting
of
it
those
really,
where it's
really
just as long as
enjoy.
everybody
Yeah.
up front knows.
I think it's the
I don't
direction
think
of,
you'll have a problem.
I think it's the direction of pretty much everything.
we
So
did
it's
it
just-
through the whole pandemic,
Yeah,
and we only
we
had
knew.
2 businesses that weren't happy with the process, and that's because they reconciled their tills daily, so.
I
um,
do too, but I know how to, you just,
Yeah,
you treat it as cash and you set it aside.
so.
It's not a hard
Until
thing
it
to do.
comes, yeah.
So I,
Okay.
myself and Dan will, work with Wendy on next steps of what things look like and if and when they're coming out of the YMCU.
Well, I think at the end of the day, that's the option we have. Period.
Yeah.
That's it. We
I did
do,
have another bank interested and I was in conversations with them, but then when YMCU said in September that they were happy to have the program back in again,
Yeah.
so I
think we
Looks
just
like-
move forward with what's easiest for Wendy. We set it and we stop moving it around. Period.
So as far as the people buying them in the first place, is that something that the process needs to change to make it easier? Like, so then those people, I would
Whether
come
we-
here if I'm buying.
Either we
them,
have
but yeah,
a link on the website that you click and pay and Anne-Louise has it.
yeah,
there.
that or
Or
cash.
something,
Yeah.
cash at the door, but so that she handles as little cash as possible. We can, if there's a way to do it on our website that we can direct as many people as possible to a prepay on the website so that there's the least amount of cash handling.
Yeah, and we do have POS.
Sure, yeah, and that's a nice option too. So.
Yeah, and with them buying it here, they had more options, like at YMCU, you could only pay cash to get your BI bucks.
Okay.
Whereas here, she had other forms of payment, which worked out well, it's just at the end of the day, or at some point, she has to move the money from the municipality's general account to our
Into our
account,
account.
there's extra
Yeah.
bookkeeping involved, but if they could, pay online with a credit card or something, like, we'll look at options and circle back in the new year. See how it is.
Yes, and you're gonna have, then we're gonna say, oh my gosh, I gotta go all the way to the town hall, pick up
Well, and I mean, we have better hours than the bank, so
Yeah,
I'll give
Fair
it
enough.
that. We're open 8:30 to
TD's only
4:30.
open till 4, so we do have
I know.
better
I was to
hours.
say, it's a convenience thing. You look at the other
Okay.
places, none of them were as flexible as we were. They were a little more restrictive in how they did it, so.
Okay, so I don't think we need a motion for that. I think we'll just leave that as staff direction to come back in the January meeting once Wendy's had time to mull it over. Okay, budget to actuals.
So that was circulated in advance.
It's in the back here.
meeting. I don't know if there's any questions. I will point out that, the 10% discount line still hasn't been populated, but I know they've been working, like, finance has been working, trying to get all those numbers in place. And then all of our expenses for this month, like, and from the
Yeah.
street party aren't all in there yet either under our community involvement. So we're still running really under budget, but I don't really know if there's any questions, concerns, or comments about anything.
Think so.
More than usual.
Money's all still there. Okay. We'll just do it as, can we do it as one motion to accept all the reports? I don't have to do each one separate. Good. Budget discussion,
I don't even know what that is.
draft
We put
budget.
a bare
Right
bone.
here. Draft budget.
We just presented a bare bones budget to the board to try and,
on the-
start.
Back page here.
I can
Where
put
did we
it
get
up.
the grant from?
On my laptop. so.
Yeah,
It's on the
I
back
didn't
page.
know
It's on the
anything about
back page of
Okay.
your agenda there.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
That
We
was
can
just
put it up
minutes.
too.
Where did we get the grant from?
Oh,
Or were we
that's in the wrong
anticipating?
spot. No, that's in the wrong spot. So there was stuff that they had to do.
Put that
There
in.
shouldn't be anything allocated. to
That way
grants. It
anybody
should be the
watching
Associate member fees.
Thrillingly from home.
Oh,
I don't know if we can make it-
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
You mean
Oh, sorry.
They
37.
got it in the wrong
Right.
spot.
Okay, sorry.
So the 3075 was a budget number for an actual
For-
number
for
for
associates, okay.
associates.
but
Okay.
but
On the
in
wrong line.
in 2023, you'll note the service level changes added there to remove that from that line.
Right.
So that's kind of how it's working. And really, like I say, I'll just point out, we've looked to increase the audit. Just to put a little more, bring it up to $500. I think it's put at $300.
Mhm.
For some time, so we're just bringing that up to $500.
Mhm.
I put a chunk, I put 2,000 in there to staff and board development and I'm just highlighting that to the board, but something,
Yeah.
to think about, because there are
It used to be
conferences.
there. It used to be there and then at COVID 2020, we took it
Yeah.
out.
And that's
It's good to put it
across the
back.
board for all our budgets,
Yeah,
so,
good.
we took meeting expenses out, we don't have any.
Not
meeting
anymore, we don't.
Expenses, so I just took that out. Information technology too, we brought it down, there may be something at some point that comes up, but I think. That's a municipal tech over there or no?
So IT, the information technology line should be my cell phone, and I know stuff it wasn't being allocated there properly. So there's my cell phone each month and our constant contact subscription, my Microsoft 360 subscription for myself and the chair email. That's why it was up as high as it was, because it covered all those expenses.
And the current, well, then I'll flag it to
Put
look
it back.
into, but when the current's only at 5.
Because they have
540.
it improperly
they haven't.
allocated.
No, and that's fine. So I mean, it's just a conversation to put kind of the bare bones in front of the board. And see if there was anything drastically they wanna talk about and at the end of the day, it's your budget, so.
Mhm. I don't think there's anything that jumps out at me, because we didn't really change too much. Anything that's jumping out at anybody else?
Right off the bat, no.
Okay. So we'll just do one motion for section 5.1 to 5.6. So we have a motion to accept all the reports. As information, Heather and Bert. Thanks for that. So we're gonna just back up here, Bert. We did not do number 4.1, confirmation and adoption of the minutes. We waited for you to get here, so. Everyone had a moment to look at the November 2nd minutes. We did confirm the agenda so that we could add to it, but. Minutes,
Assuming that the standard was there, so.
yeah, that's what it was, what you read. So we're gonna have a motion to accept the minutes from November 2nd, Heather and Bert, and all in favor. Okay, good. Now we'll go down to 6. We have any correspondence? Not that I'm
I
aware of.
just had, there was just one thing in the minutes about the posts and a QR code draw or something.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
that's right. Can we do that?
Right, did you do that? in your-
I didn't do that.
We haven't done it yet, so
Okay.
we'll put that on updates.
Because that's, it was supposed to be kind of an information thing that wants that.
Or,
Okay.
yeah, because I was going to do.
Okay. No correspondence? Trish?
Oh, no,
correspondence?
no.
No announcements, we have nothing, it's Christmas. No notices of motion. We do have a closed session, do we want to do the other business before the closed session, is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
While we have these guys here? Yeah. Okay, other business, we did add bows and
Yeah.
full wraps. So Bert and I had a little discussion downtown the other day about the bows that he started putting up, and
Ugly.
they're pretty faded. They've had a
Are
couple
they?
of years of, they're
I know, yeah.
Red ones.
Red ones.
they're bad. They're bad, they're mostly.
I
white.
stopped because.
They're mostly white.
Comments, truthfully, I didn't notice at first until somebody said they don't look very good.
They look like they came out of a
So
garage
I,
sale bin.
So I
So
stopped.
we're gonna take them down.
How would you get?
4,
2,
Four.
4.
Four.
Well, 3
Four.
poles, 4
Oh.
poles.
Yeah, so,
So 6 poles, 8 poles.
so they look like they came out of grandma's garage sale. They've just had how many years, like they've had, we had them all July, we had them up all July, we had them up.
They're
in the
just
winters,
faded.
And then they're just faded, so
Who
it's ever,
paint them?
so
We could spray paint them.
we just take them down.
Good.
They just fabric boat, like whatever.
Yeah.
Those
Meshy.
plastic, meshy.
It's called cinnamon.
I honestly, I would just
Cinnamon?
add it to your budget if you want to replace
Oh,
that.
they weren't cheap.
I don't
How much did we pay?
Back and-
2020?
I just know I got
2019?
them on my truck and if they're
Like
gonna go in the garden.
couple
you know, dispose of
$1,000
them. So
For these damn bows, $1,000?
I don't think-
$1,000. They were
I hate
$1,000.
throwing
we
things
got them from
away.
Floral Treasure, didn't we?
They were $1,000, I'm pretty sure.
We could spray
They
paint
were
them. I
like
know what'll
50
happen. They'll look.
Like they were
worse.
like $50 a bow.
I just hate throwing things away.
I could put them all up and hope
They
they
were
blow away in the wind,
$50 a bow.
I
and
would
we got 20.
but they are faded. I mean, when you look at them, they aren't very, they aren't
Pretty sure
really
they were
adding. to
$50
the
Well, you're
aesthetic
the
of the
one who's
downtown.
paying spray, we're not throwing you out.
Well, that's
It's
with white.
reverting back to its natural Dutch white.
We did get 2 like uses out of them.
We did, and they were up all of July for July
They
1st. So
were up
do,
for-
So
do we want to spend the money just to get up new ones?
if we want it for Christmas,
But we're not gonna have
we're
them
not
for
gonna have them in
Christmas
time because we're obviously in December.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of a lot of money just to have them up twice?
We have them
now
up,
they're done.
usually
Well, the
they're up
idea
for
is
all of
maybe after-
December and all of July.
Well, if they're not
Red.
gonna survive long-term from fading.
Yeah.
Like they didn't fade in the basement. I mean, they were outside.
They
and
were
they faded.
faded.
So you know what, let's, instead of going into planning discussion, we can discuss this afterwards.
So-
Let's just make, are we taking them down?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll cut them down.
Yeah.
Which
And-
leads to the second part.
Full wraps, what you discovered while
So-
you were putting them up.
Another one
Explore
Awesome.
costs.
Hmm?
Do you want me to explore costs?
Explore costs for next year or for July.
blew off in the wind. Of course, it was the Sunday Christmas parade, high windy evening. So part of the reason I was putting the bows up is one quick solution to keep the pole wraps on as I was looking at them. Is they're not quite as adhesive as what they claim. Like they're supposed to be really adhesive, but when we cut them, because despite when I watch the video, you have to put them on, line them up, and then there's excess because our poles are tapered. There's the right word for it. So I have to cut off part of it and try to get them to mesh. Sometimes I was really good at it, sometimes I wasn't. But because of where the joining is, sometimes it didn't always adhere to the pole properly, so they started to bubble. So as I was looking at them, the quick solution I thought of was I got a bunch of cable ties and I did a tie at the top and a tie at the bottom where that normally on the seal where I cut them is where the problem happens. So where I put the bows up, I put cable ties on to adhere the thing because the one that came off first was really wrecked. The second one, when I looked at it, I don't know, maybe I didn't wash the poles off enough when I put them on, but the adhesive inside was literally gone. And it's still in its nice wrapping thing. I could probably put up some tie wraps, but we still got 3 or 4 extra that we could use. But the catch is are we doing it right? The video basically just shows us putting them on, slice them down, try to get your seam adhered, and a couple of ones I was pretty good at, and a couple of ones I wasn't. And it just happened to be the ones on the south side of the street next to each other blew off, which I'm kind of baffled with, because I thought I did those pretty good.
And when, I forget, when did you put them up? That was just this year?
In the summer.
Yeah.
So
Um,
my understanding was is they were not to be cut, and the one that fell off outside of Scotia was like severely cut. And I don't think that they were supposed to be. The way I was pitched it and understood it all is that they would wrap, and yes, they were gonna overlap a bit, but that's not, it should have only been like a bit of an overlap. They shouldn't have been cut.
Okay, because when I looked at the video you sent me, it had guys basically notching it and then trying to get seams together. So I could leave, the problem with the overlap is that they are
Anti-graffiti.
anti-graffiti.
So they
Well,
don't
the
stick to
catch
each
is
other.
they don't stick to each other.
So how about we put a call into the company to
Yeah.
troubleshoot?
Mhm.
We Put an email or a call.
Cause I say
into
that the
company.
video you showed, you sent me, basically had the guys notching it down, so cutting it and then bringing the other piece
Okay.
over and then cutting it off and trying to get the seam to adhere, which we did, but as I say, sometimes it was really good and sometimes I got that ripple bubble effect and I couldn't get them to stick. So the cable tie basically on the bottom, near the bottom, keeps that, because it's not at the top or bottom, or it's at the top or the bottom where that seam starts to bubble. It's not in the middle. So the cable tie in the middle just locks in that bottom piece to keep that from peeling.
Okay, well.
So, but anyway, yeah. I could have been
Troubleshoot
wrong,
with
but
the company.
what I saw, they don't stick to each other very well because they're supposed to be anti-graffiti to keep stuff from sticking to them. Thank God they were dirty. I didn't wash the one down. Oh,
You should
Okay.
wash them twice a year.
I surprised how much crap was on them, but anyway, yeah, if we did it wrong, oops. The video I showed shows we're supposed to cut them to get the seams to come together,
Well, that would make sense.
but as I say, it's if they
Well,
weren't,
and
then
put
it's just
over
a
it
matter of, watch the wrong video.
No, I think you did it properly.
Okay,
So-
well,
It's just not right.
we'll just move on with, we'll
Probably
see,
not
we'll
right.
see what they have to
That sounds
say.
like the one thing policy I was. looking
And I guess the second piece of it is we do some research on how other people got them up if we don't get far with the company on what we're doing wrong.
She's pretty responsive also.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think we had any other business. No. All right, so we're going to go to section 9 and we do have closed sessions. There's nothing else that anyone has. I thank you all for coming and your input. Merry Christmas.
Right, it's December, isn't it?
Merry
So
Christmas.
you had the screen up.
I did, yeah,
I missed that.
I probably had, oh, I don't know. 10 to
Was it in your parking
15.
lot?
Yep,
Okay,
I did call Fred and I was like. 20, like I could have put it on the other side of my property, facing, like angled towards downtown.
yep.
If we could, if we want to do that, or
today. It really helps.
Yeah, I think
lot.
it should come.
I think we're all like. A matter of being rigid because we haven't been. Okay. So we're gonna come back, we're back, okay. We have a motion that the board asks council to approve the removal of board member Schneiders and add 2 new members, Coralie Foster and Tracy Medhurst, to the BIA board. In closed session, staff was also given direction. And I don't think we need a motion for that, do we?
No, we would just look
Just
for a
that's-
mover and seconder on.
For the motion, for the first motion, Heather and Bert. And all in favor is the 3 of us that are left. And we also have made an adjustment. The next meeting date will be January 30th at 6 p.m., not January 4th. And I don't think we need a motion for that. That's just a change to our agenda. So a motion, if there's nothing else, motion to adjourn. Heather and Bert,
So
and I'm in favor. Carried. So we adjourned at 7:59.